Something strange is happening on the PGA Tour right now, and if you follow golf even a little bit, you need to hear this, because in the span of just a few days, 7 major names pulled out of the Wyndham Championship, the tour's regular season finale, and the last real chance for dozens of players to fight their way into the FedEx Cup playoffs. And by the time you finish watching this video, you're going to understand exactly why this single tournament turned into one of the most chaotic weeks the PGA Tour has seen all year. So stick around, because the story behind these withdrawals is way bigger than just a few empty tee times. It's about pressure, about players protecting their bodies, about a Ryder Cup star making a call nobody expected, and about one former world number one whose entire season might already be over. So let's break it all down. First, let's set the stage, because context matters here more than anything. The Wyndham Championship at Sedgefield Country Club in Greensboro is not just another stop on the schedule, it is the single last opportunity for players sitting near the bottom of the FedEx Cup standings to climb inside the top 70 and keep their season alive heading into the playoffs. So you would think every player fighting for his career would show up and give everything he has, and most of them did. But 7 big names decided the smarter move was to step away, and each one of them had a completely different reason, which is honestly what makes this story so fascinating. Let's start with the name that shocked fans the most, Patrick Cantlay, an 8-time PGA Tour winner and a fixture on Team USA's Ryder Cup roster, simply was not in the field this week, and here's the twist. No official reason was given. The PGA Tour confirmed his withdrawal, but offered no explanation, and under tour rules, players are not required to disclose why they pull out before a tournament even begins. So fans were left speculating. Was it fatigue after a long season? Was it a scheduling decision ahead of the playoffs? Or was it something else entirely? We simply don't know. And that mystery alone was enough to send golf media into a frenzy, with his spot in the field handed to world number 228 Ben Silverman, a massive opportunity for a player who rarely gets this kind of stage. Then there's Christopher Rayton, and his story is maybe the most surprising of all, because unlike most players scrambling to save their season, Rayton didn't need to be at Sedgefield at all. He entered the week sitting comfortably at number 17 in the FedEx Cup standings, safely inside that crucial top 70 cutoff, so his withdrawal had nothing to do with survival. It seemed to be purely about rest and strategy. Rayton had already delivered the signature moment of his season back in May, when he captured his first PGA Tour victory at the Truist Championship. But since that career-defining win, his form cooled off noticeably, with just one top 10 finish and 2 missed cuts in the weeks that followed. So stepping back from Wyndham looks like a calculated decision to reset before the real pressure of the playoffs begins. And his countryman Christopher Ventura stepped into the field in his place, arriving in strong form himself after a tie for 5th at the Rocket Classic just the week before. Now let's talk about the withdrawal that honestly tells the deepest story of the week. Brooks Koepka, the 4-time major champion who spent years away from the PGA Tour competing on LIV Golf, is back for his first full season on tour, and it has not gone the way anyone expected. Coming into Rocket Classic week, he was sitting at number 84 in FedEx Cup points, needing at minimum a 4th-place finish just to keep realistic hope of cracking the top 70 alive, and instead of fighting for that finish, he withdrew from that tournament entirely, citing a personal reason. And if you look at his season as a whole, the picture gets even tougher. Missed cuts at both the US Open and the Genesis Scottish Open, a tie for 28th at the Open Championship, and just one top 10 finish across 15 starts all year. So when he did show up at Sedgefield for the Wyndham Championship, it genuinely felt like a do-or-die moment. He even showed up with a brand new look, debuting a mustache, and opened with a round that left him 6 shots off the lead, meaning realistically, this former world number one, this 4-major winning champion, could be watching his FedEx Cup playoff hopes slip away in real time, and that is a genuinely stunning storyline for a player of his caliber. And here's where it gets even more interesting, because this wasn't a one-man story, it kept snowballing. Michael Thorbjornsen, fresh off winning his very first PGA Tour title at the Rocket Classic, chose to skip Wyndham entirely, and honestly, who could blame him? That win locked up his playoff spot and pushed him inside the top 50 in the world. So rather than take another cross-country trip for a tournament that no longer mattered for his positioning, he chose to rest, and his spot went to Justin Lower, giving another player a golden opportunity most only dream of. Then Brendan Todd withdrew, opening the door for the always entertaining Matt Kuchar to step into the field, and Dan Brown's withdrawal let Lanto Griffin in, and just when everyone thought the withdrawal list was finally settled, another name dropped out on short notice, Pierceson Cootie, becoming the 9th player overall to exit the tournament this week, in a decision the tour gave no explanation for, and Cootie himself has stayed silent publicly, so nobody outside his camp knows if this was an injury, fatigue, or simply a strategic choice, though the good news for him is that his season isn't over. Sitting at 53rd in the FedEx Cup standings means he's already locked into the St. Jude Championship next week regardless. So when you step back and look at the full picture, what you're really seeing is the pressure of the PGA Tour season laid completely bare. Some players like Rayton and Thorbjornsen had already secured their playoff spots and simply chose rest over risk. Other players like Koepka are fighting for their competitive lives and showing up anyway, hoping for a miracle finish. And players like Cantlay leave us with more questions than answers, choosing complete silence over explanation. And that contrast, players with nothing to prove walking away, players with everything to prove walking straight into the fire, is exactly what makes this Wyndham Championship one of the most emotionally loaded events of the entire PGA Tour calendar. Now here's a question I want you to think about and drop in the comments below. If you were in Brooks Koepka's shoes, a 4-time major champion whose form has completely collapsed this season, would you keep grinding through a tournament like this hoping for a miracle? Or would you shut it down, protect your body, and start planning for next year? Because there's no easy answer here. And I think that tension is exactly why this story has captured so much attention this week. And one more thing before you go, keep an eye on how this affects the FedEx Cup playoff picture, because every single withdrawal we just talked about opened a door for another player, guys like Ben Silverman, Christopher Ventura, Justin Lower, Matt Kuchar, and Lanto Griffin. Players who don't normally get this level of spotlight are suddenly standing in Sedgefield with a real chance to play their way into the postseason, and if even one of them goes on a run this week, we could be telling their underdog story in a video just like this one very soon. So here's what I want from you. If this breakdown helped you actually understand what's going on behind the scenes of the Wyndham Championship, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more golf fans who need to see this story. Drop a comment telling me which withdrawal shocked you the most. Cantlay's silent exit, Koepka's must-win pressure, or Rayton's surprising rest decision. And if you want to stay updated as this FedEx Cup playoff race heats up over the next few weeks, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because trust me, after a week like this one, the drama on the PGA Tour is only just getting started. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.